together to share knowledge and new skills with one another. Every year you sponsor Hackfort, which is, for those of you who are not aware, Hackfort. This is a tech festival that brings the community together to share knowledge and new skills with one another. Hackfort. 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 Hackfort.
All right, we are live. Mike Taylor and Sean Wakely, Hackfort Live, episode 2. Awesome, man. How you doing today, Mike?
Oh, pretty good.
Living that home life, working from home life, our new norm the past few months.
Melvin's is really enjoying it lately.
Yeah, it's been pretty funny. I've been watching my friend Brendan's dog this week, so I've been working at his house, and it's actually been really nice to have a animal around, someone who's friendly and loves me.
Yep.
They're pretty great. Wow. Right on, man. Well, this is our second episode of the show. For anyone new, Hackfort Live, we're trying to make this a bi-weekly deal where we just talk about Hackfort and all things video games and technology and the culture around that. I'm Sean Wakely, and this is Mike Taylor. Today's show, we're just going to go over some current events. I'm actually going to interview Mike, kind of talk about, where he all started in technology and kind of go down that rabbit hole. I'm sure I'll learn something. It'll be fun. And then, we'll talk about some game stuff that came up, and then we'll kind of wrap it up and see if we'll do a after show. You're thinking about doing that, right, Mike? Take the stream?
Thinking about it.
Cool. You don't have to. You have a whole show to figure it out. Well, let's get right into it. Let's look at the news. Our first story here is about... Oh, yeah, I love it when we have ads. It's about USB 4. So, USB 4. Mike, do you know anything about USB 4?
Not a thing. USB 3 is still not even really adopted.
I know, right? I had to grab this just because it's pretty crazy how often this stuff changes. The one thing that I think is interesting is they've really tried in the last few years to adopt the same plug, but we have all these different standards. It says here USB 4 is purported to be twice as fast as USB 3.2, not to be confused with 3.1 or 3.0, but we're saying 20 gigabytes a second. That's pretty wild. That's fast.
USB has a branding issue.
Yeah, they definitely do. And it's also interesting because Thunderbolt uses the same plug too. So if you have a Thunderbolt port, it might also work as a USB port. Very interesting. Yeah, they even say that right. Intel and Apple's Thunderbolt 3 standard. So anyways, I thought that was interesting. I mean, they're already obviously looking to the future. I don't know if it says when they're... But maybe they'll simplify it. I mean, the biggest thing for me is I just hope to God that we keep this shape for at least 20 years. I don't know. Maybe we won't.
Yeah.
I think that was their idea. I just would love it if it's all the same plug and it doesn't matter which type it is and it's fully backwards compatible. I don't know. But it's hard to say. I don't know.
And I have now different types of USB 3. Like, for the Oculus Link to work, you have to have like a super powered one for some reason. I don't know what it is.
Oh.
But the cable that comes with the Oculus Quest doesn't work.
Yeah.
So you have to buy the Oculus
special
Link
cable.
or a special cable. In my case, I bought one from Anchor. That was like a quarter of the price.
But it worked?
And it works. But the same cable has trouble doing other things. Like I can't file transfer with this cable.
Oh, that's fun.
So there's like all these cables that I have now that I have to try to remember like what it can even do.
Yeah, well, do you have, when you upgraded your graphics card, do you have one of the ones that has a USB-C port on the back?
I don't think so.
So that is why I think the Oculus needs a special cable, because all the new cards, like all the 20 series cards, have this, it's like the virtual link port. It's designed for that. so I don't know if you don't have a card that supports it, if it'll even work, unless there's like some kind of thing.
It'll work on a USB 3 port.
Well, it'll still work. Okay. I just know that USB port is dedicated for that. So.
Yeah. I actually haven't even looked. I might have it. I don't know.
Interesting. So yeah, that's going to be an interesting thing. I mean, I don't know. We'll see. And obviously nothing's perfect, but I feel like USB 1.0 and 2.0 were the same for how long?
Too long.
Forever. But at least we didn't have to like stress out about whatever,
Yeah, I know. Now these cables have different, like one's just for powering, and one's for file transfer, and one's for, I don't know.
Or in theory, they should all work. That's weird that the Anchor only works in one way. Whatever. Well, what about our next story here? I'm going to keep this from playing. Or maybe I'll let it play, actually. It's just going to play. Mike, I'll let you lead with this one. PS5 Unreal Engine 5 tech demo.
Technical director of graphics.
Yeah, that was awesome. That was part of. Have you been watching any of the, what's it called, Summer Games event thing that Jeff Keighley's doing? It's
haven't had a
like
chance.
a couple months long event, where like every couple weeks or something, there's like a reveal or some interview with game developers or something. So a lot of cool stuff to look forward to this summer for that. And this one was kind of a big reveal. Like, we haven't seen much about what PS5 can do.
Yeah.
We don't even know what the PS5 looks like yet.
Yeah.
And Epic Games comes out and announces the new Unreal Engine and the tech demo of what it is capable of doing. So you kind of get a preview of what next gen game.
Yeah, I have it. I actually have the video. The video is in that article. I just pulled it up. I have to. Sorry, guys, if it looks weird on our stream. I had to resize it. But it looks really cool. I mean, the lighting did look really impressive. A lot of people are talking crap about it. But it'll be really interesting to see if this is, how it really ends up working. You know how they always do with tech demos. It's always like, oh, it does this, and then But I was really interested in the thing that blew me away was how it handled assets. If they're not lying to us, the lighting was amazing. But what really blew me away is they were like importing movie quality assets that have like billions of triangles, polygons.
That was the cool part.
Yeah, and it just doesn't affect the game. I was reading an article that was saying something about how the it's actually, I'm going to go back to that shot. This is a cool shot where she's just kind of walking into the cave. But I was reading an article about how the reason the PS5 is able to do this, supposedly, if this is running on their thing, is because the SSD that PS5 has is like ultra fast, like really, 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 really fast.
Yeah.
And it could give them a huge edge over the Xbox in theory. So because it's so fast, they can like load all these objects and just have them there. It's almost working like RAM, right? But they have more storage in a way because of that. So, yeah.
Yeah,
the lighting's just insane.
That looked awesome.
Yeah, it really did look cool. Really,
and that reminded me of like the remake of The Lion King. Like,
oh yeah,
that's how they shot the movie. It was essentially a game engine.
Yeah,
it looked like that.
Yeah, and they all I could think about was Tomb Raider when I was watching this, and I was like, okay, I'll just rip off Tomb Raider, but
yeah, it did look very Tomb Raider like.
But yeah, and that's really cool. I think that's it's always exciting to see how they're pushing it, and I mean, games to me have just gotten so good. It's like,
yeah, and I think a lot of people now don't care as much about graphics as they used to.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still cool to see, but that's not really why you buy games.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, at this point, it's becoming less of a. I mean, don't get me wrong; it's like getting realer and realer. But like, I think we are gonna. It's gonna be a little more incremental. Like, again, I've also seen people complaining about why didn't the Xbox games look like next gen? And it's like, well, it's not as fast at doubling polygons as it used to be, right? Or it's harder to tell that they've been improving those polygons, right? So it's just, yeah, the games still need to be fun, right?
Yeah, it's all about gameplay.
So yeah, it moves us on to the next one. And actually, just speaking of your Oculus, I don't know if you saw this, Mike, but new Oculus Quest headset is reportedly on the way. Big surprise.
Yeah, that is the least surprising thing I've ever heard.
Yeah. By the way, Mike, I finally convinced Chris Ginston to get one over getting the Index for two reasons. One, I told him he would actually probably get one at a reasonable time. And the second reason was it's awesome, and he travels so much in his van. I'm like, dude, listen, like,
yeah,
because he's like, well, what if the Oculus Link doesn't work? I really want to play Half-Life Alyx, and I was like, if you don't like your Quest, I'll buy it from you. Like, I told him, I was like, I'll buy it. Like, it's just so awesome having the portability. Like,
it is, and it works amazingly with the Quest.
Yeah, like, are you using a cable? Are you using a cable with Half-Life Alyx? Are you doing that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a 10-foot.
So you're using a 10-foot cable, and you're doing the link through Steam. Chris was like, "It's not supported," and I was like, "I'm pretty sure it works," because I know Mike.
Yep,
yeah, so you're not even streaming it; you're actually using a cable and doing it, and it's working fine.
Yep.
Okay.
Oculus, like, it's part of Oculus now. You don't have to like sideload anything.
Yeah.
Oculus now supports that.
Yeah, so it's cool. He ordered one. I'm excited. I think he's gonna love it. I mean, the thing is, dude, he spends all that time in his van. I'm like, dude, you can bring it with you on the road, and you can just stand out in the woods when you're camping and play it. Like, why wouldn't you want to do that? Like,
that's incredible.
And he like,
you can just use it and like watch movies like in a theater in your van.
Totally. Yeah.
Pretty cool.
I mean, yeah. So I'm excited. I mean, and Jesse got one. Rachel just got one and she loves it because she was like, like talking about getting a PC, and I just said, oh no, get a Quest. Like, for 90% of people, it is an amazing experience. And honestly, dude, I've used yours. It's, I would say, twice as good as mine as far as like looking through. Like, if you need to come over and try my headset, and you'll be like, you'll be mad. Like, it's crazy how much that, like, 2 generations or whatever. Yeah, the lenses make everything. I mean, don't get me wrong, your resolution actually is higher than I thought it was, because I was like digging into it, and it's like the same as the Index, but they also have like similar lenses, and you don't have as high of a refresh rate, but it really works. I mean,
I think it's a steal for $400.
It is. Dude, if I wanted to, Chris was looking at building like this top spec PC for like over $2,000, and then spending another $1,000 on an Index, and I'm like, man, I was like, I'll eat my foot if you like. I'll buy it. If he hates it, I'll buy it.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, and getting back to, supposedly they're working on a new one, big surprise, but they're saying like maybe within the end of this year or something, and it's just gonna be really similar. They were talking about how it's just going to be lighter, which honestly, that's one of the gripes, right? You have like a counterweight on yours, right, to try to balance it out.
Sometimes I tape like a battery pack to the back of it.
Yeah.
Because then it doubles as a battery extender. You can like plug in.
Yeah, that's smart.
The battery.
Yeah, and charge it and keep it going. Oh, see, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, supposedly they're doing that, and and obviously they're going to probably give it an upgrade in graphics and performance. Probably not a ton, but maybe a higher refresh rate.
Yeah.
The guy at the end saying like the S or Pro update schedule certainly makes sense for the Oculus devices right now. Because they're saying this isn't like a giant upgrade; it's just like it makes sense.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And still keep all the games and everything. Like,
yeah,
it's gonna be cool.
Okay, Mike, this one's yours. Let's go to the screen on this. What is the BitCoin halving, and which day does it happen? Please do so.
Well, I just picked a random article to talk about the halvening or the halving. That already happened.
Okay. And
It
are
happened,
you talking about, is this when they forked because there were different opinions on how it should be, the code base should be maintained? Or is this different than that?
This is different.
Okay.
So only 21 million Bitcoin are ever going to be mined. That's a fixed price.
Okay.
Or fixed amount from the inception of Bitcoin.
Sure.
Initially, 50 coins were able to be mined every 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And then the reward was cut in half to 25 in 2012.
Mm-hmm.
And then to 12.5 in 2016. And now it's 6.5.
It'll bring the reward to 6.25. Is that just so they're basically waiting for the algorithm? Are they just talking about the algorithm having everything basically?
Yeah.
Okay. So the hash crunch is going to be to 6.25.
So all the miners that are mining Bitcoin,
they're using the same amount of power to get less coins.
Are going to get half as much as they were like a week ago.
Okay.
So that, I mean, there's lots of reasons.
Well, in theory, it's going to keep getting harder and harder and harder until we're at
Yeah, until all are mined. A lot of people are predicting that a lot of miners are going to stop mining now soon because it's just worth it.
Not economically worth it. Yeah, it can't self-sustain. Yeah.
But there probably will be enough miners to keep Bitcoin going.
Sure.
But it also makes it way more scarce now. Mm-hmm. So price might go up a lot more. It's now the most scarce. Thing. It's more scarce than gold.
Yeah.
Officially. We mine less of this than we do gold every year now.
Yeah. That makes sense.
So, a lot of implications. Pretty big event. But
yeah. I'm curious to just see where it all goes eventually. I love the idea of blockchain, and Bitcoin had a great idea, but greedy people, I feel like, kind of human greed usually always comes in and ruins good ideas. So we'll see. We will see. But hopefully something comes from just blockchain in general as a very useful piece of technology. And
oh yeah, blockchain voted.
Yes, like Bit Congress and other ideas. Contracts too make sense too, or moving large financial sums of money. I think that makes sense between banks and
maybe the government could have used Bitcoin to send checks to every person.
I mean, that'd be cool. I don't think we're that cool to do that, but that would have been cool.
Yeah.
What the heck? Where did my thing go? Oh, there it is. Yeah, so that's cool. That'll be interesting. Yeah, and you and I have talked. We always try to bring some kind of blockchain or cryptocurrency related thing into Hackfort, and it seems like that's died, right? But I think it's still very relevant, especially blockchain. We're always looking. And we won't.
1 year.
Yeah.
There was a huge craze because of the giant price of Bitcoin.
Yeah.
But the stuff that's interesting is the underlying technology behind it all. Even a lot of the enthusiasts around Bitcoin and stuff, they don't like how the price has exploded.
Yeah. Of course.
That's distracting from the real implications of blockchain.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and we won't talk about it on stream, but earlier today I actually got tweeted back by someone I really wanted to bring to Hackfort, so who knows where that'll go, but it'd be interesting to have them on board at some point, depending. So, yeah, so that's cool. Well, the next story I think is just one you and I were talking about right before the stream, but Epic Game Store was down for hours as everyone tried to get GTA 5 for free. I mean,
that was one of them.
Yeah, I haven't even tried yet. I should.
I got it. I was successful eventually.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty epic, literally epic, that GTA 5 is free on their store. I mean, they really are trying to compete with Steam, and I mean, obviously the game's been out for a long time, but it's not like there's a sequel to play, and they're online. Yeah,
it's been out forever, but
it's like a new game online, right?
but it's still been getting consistent sales. Like, people are still buying it. It's still one of the top games purchased all the time.
I mean, I'll be real, like, definitely the best Grand Theft Auto ever, and even the story mode was amazing. You switch between the characters on the fly, and like, it was huge. It's a good game. And then the online stuff, I never did it, but everything I read, every time I'd read about it or see an update, I'm always like, holy crap, they added that? They did what?
Oh yeah, that's really why, like, they did it.
Yeah.
To get people playing more online. And that's a beast of its own. It's enormous.
Yeah, I mean, and who knows what they'll do? I mean, obviously they're working on the next one, but you know, and then they also made Cowboy Simulator last year. That's what I call it. But
yeah, it's too much of a simulator. I didn't like it very much.
Cowboy Simulator. I'm talking about Red Dead Redemption, if people don't know what that is, but literally every time I've watched friends play, I'm like, that's a Cowboy Simulator. Like, I might as well get into Train Simulator or like Truck Simulator. Like, it's too real. Maybe the next Grand Theft Auto will be too real and it won't be fun. Like, it's like the implications of your actions are like too much. I'd be furious. Like, Grand Theft Auto needs to be a little detached from reality, otherwise it's already too much. Like,
if you accidentally like run over a pedestrian, there's like a cut scene of the ramifications of.
Yeah, or if you get arrested and you actually have to serve the time in game, and you're just
yeah.
Be so bad. Oh my
Probably
God.
where it's heading.
Maybe we'll see. That would be so funny. Yeah, that's a good one. Let's see. Would I have one more? Oh yeah, I had one more. This was really nerdy. This is actually I want to talk about this because of one of our directors, Drew Lurona, loves board games, and this one's Dungeons and Dragons dice are more beautiful than ever and a big business. I don't know what it is. I don't even play that much board games, but I love cool dice, and I guess that's why they're a huge business. And I remember over Christmas, Drew actually, like, I almost bought one, and Drew was like, Sean, you got to get one of these, and it was like an advent calendar with dice.
Pretty awesome.
And you got like a different dice every day. I was like, that actually sounds pretty rad. And I didn't do it, but like, Drew ended up saying, he's like, oh, the dice weren't what I expected. I was like, oh, okay. But yeah, I mean, custom dice, it's pretty crazy. They have like photos here with inlaid brass and like bronze and stuff, on Etsy. It's like a whole thing. It's like a big part of the board game. And I guess it's worth saying, like, the board game industry in general is huge. It's had a big comeback, and I'm gonna play this video. Yeah. Oh, look at the light. Oh my God. Like, pretty wild. Yeah, and board games are definitely something we try to also incorporate in Hackfort. Again, it comes back to just geek culture, nerd culture. People love video games. You love board games too, because it's strategy, it's complex thinking, and man, some of these dice are so crazy. That video is cool. I'm happy I'm playing that. But yeah, I mean, hopefully on stream we eventually, if we can all get back together after this pandemic, playing a board game live is something I think I definitely want to do. We definitely have the table for it at my house, and it'd be pretty easy to set up our Amiibo and Gloomhaven. I'd love to get you. What were you gonna say?
Do they have LED dice?
I'm sure they do.
Light up dice.
RGB all the dice. Yeah.
Yeah. I'd be interested in that.
Yeah, I think that's a very doable, Mike, for sure.
RGB is coming to D&D. Oh, yep.
Actually, a friend of mine in Boise, he and his friends were working on building a D20 that magnetically charged, and you could program to do different things. But they wanted it to like light up and use induction charging, and I don't know if that ever went anywhere, but I know they were working on it. Gene showed me like a crude prototype.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah. Huh. I should look into that. Maybe they want to present at Hackfort.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty sweet. Well, yeah, that's the news. Let's jump into you, Mike. Mike Tay.
My favorite topic.
Yeah. Well, let's just start out. I mean, why do you think you're interested in technology? Like, where does that come from? Where do you think you're like hell of an icebreaker, right?
Yeah. I'm gonna say it's gotta be video games.
Okay.
I think I started playing games a little earlier than most folks. There's pictures of me as like a 2-year-old playing Mega Man 2, like
Wow.
on the NES.
That's
And I
funny.
remember playing Atari. Like I had an NES and Atari growing up, and like that's what I did.
Yeah, that's funny, Mike. You know, like my oldest memories of probably tech is probably our NES, and I couldn't play it, but I'd watch my brother play it, like Metroid and Mario, and like it took me a while to even learn how to do it.
Yeah, I would. I mean, I just I don't know how good I was. I think I was pretty good. I remember one time I would pass my controller to my mom, and it was a Mega Man game, and I passed it over to my mom because I couldn't pass like this one part. I'm like, hey, can you beat this for me? And she like tried, but she was terrible. You know, like she didn't know what she was doing,
Yeah.
and I couldn't believe it.
Mm,
You know, because parents are like incredible. They're good at everything. And they know everything. But no, she was crap,
yeah.
and that was like, whoa, like I'm good at something that my parents aren't at. So
Mm,
it
that's
was
fair.
weird.
Yeah, I I do remember my dad, like, he didn't play video games much, but I remember when he had the NES, he would like help Jesse on some Mario levels and stuff. Like, you know, Jesse quickly eclipsed needing help, but you
Yeah,
know, I remember watching Jesse play that Mega Man totally, and then just like original Zelda, you know, like yeah, Jesse rocked those games. I mean,
for me it was Mega Man, DuckTales,
mm,
Chippendales Rescue Rangers, original Mario with Duck Hunt, and then some obscure ones like Mylan's Secret Castle, which I didn't know any like. You can't even get that far without having like a brain. So like a little kid can't do much. I couldn't read or anything, and it's really hard to progress in that game. So I would just like go in and die all the time, but I'd keep playing it for some reason.
hmm,
Ninja Gaiden, I'd play a lot.
okay,
I think I got really good at that as a kid. Like I couldn't get that far right now. The game's so hard, but I didn't know that back then. I just thought I was bad for dying, so I think I just played that like crazy.
okay, huh, yeah. Did so? I guess kind of segue from that. You know, do you remember when computers came into the picture and like how you
Oh
got
yeah,
into computers? I mean, I feel like, I mean, just before you say that story, I feel like personally my friendship with you really started over you and I having a better understanding of the computers than most of our friends, and you and I both had computers with CD burners
yeah.
and maybe a program called Napster. But we'll get, you know, we can maybe get to that. But anyway, like when did computers start to really come into that for you?
Uh, yeah. Also, really early, like
Yeah.
I had a DOS as a kid. My
Okay.
dad
Wow.
used a word processor in DOS for making, you know,
Okay.
books and stuff. Um, so I would install like DOS games and play those on the computer back in the day. And then like we had Windows 3.1. on like, I still remember it was like a HP Hewlett Packard, no, a Packard Bell Navigator thing. It was like a weird, anyway, old Windows system,
Mm-hmm.
bunch
you
more games involved.
did
Windows
you
95.
did you
know.
learn DOS? Do you remember doing like DOS commands or no?
I learned enough to
Like load
install and load games.
a game?
That's all.
I remember.
CD /.
Maybe when we get to I'm sure I'll talk to it when we get to our backstory, but it's really funny. Like DOS to me was the most foreign thing when I was little because Jesse and I had Apple computers, which had graphic user interfaces that before Windows. So like I would go to my buddy Chris's house, and he would like be in DOS, just like running DOS commands. And I was like, are you a program? Like, this is crazy. This is how you use it in another computer? And I just thought it was insane. And he thought he's like, Apple's so dumb. And like that argument still exists today. But I think it's funny because now more people own iPhones than anything else. But, and it's all about that design and that interface. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh. So
I never got into DOS.
Yeah. Like, do you like? Yeah, and then you started moving up the chain. Obviously, Windows 95, all that. When did you build your first computer, or like when did you upgrade a computer? Like, was that your brother, or I remember your brother was kind of into it too. Like, where's that fit in?
Yeah, I'd say my own computer without having a family computer was probably, I think, middle school.
Okay.
Ish. And it was very much like hand-me-down stuff. Like, my brother got a computer, and then once that was old and my brother needed an upgrade, I'd get his old one.
Mm-hmm.
So at one point we had 2 computers in our house, and it was like, I think 7th grade. And that's probably when I really started getting more into... getting into computers is... When I say that, I'm not like... I don't mean like programming.
No. Like, just the hardware, the gaming, stuff. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
Like figuring out Napster and how to download things, like you said. Figuring out how to connect 2 computers together so you can play games together.
Diablo, Warcraft, StarCraft.
Yeah.
Blizzard games, really. Like, I think I maybe got Quake working once between me and a friend on a dial-up modem, but it was like...
Yeah.
Not great. Not in Sandpoint.
A lot of Tribes.
Oh yeah. Did you dial up Tribes and that worked okay?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's impressive. Do you know when you got like DSL in Sandpoint? Did you get that when we were in high school or middle school?
Way later.
Okay.
Like I was probably a junior or senior the first time I got decent internet.
I think
before that it was like 56K.
Yeah, dude.
And I think we paid for a second phone line so that I didn't take it up all the time.
It was always on, yeah.
Because it was always on.
We definitely got a second line too. That was a whole thing.
Yeah.
And even then, our dad would it was like his business line or whatever, and like he'd pick it up and be like, "Dad, no."
Yeah. No, it was technically my phone number, and I didn't even know it because it was just connected to the internet the whole time. Or wasn't it? What was it? T1 or something?
Well, T1 was like a 100 meg connection. So like
100 meg?
100 meg.
No way.
Yeah. But that seemed like a lot.
Yeah, I might have had that at some point. I don't remember.
Well, if you got DSL, it was probably 10 megabytes a second, or what? It was significant compared to 56K. I just remember I couldn't get it until we were probably a junior. I think I got it when we were a junior on Lakeshore Drive. My mom finally got cable, and JJ, out of all our friends, probably had high speed internet. Earliest actually that I can remember. My dad still doesn't have high speed internet at his house. Out in Sagal, so he uses Verizon. Like, it's like,
that sucks.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. Well, so what were you into in school? Like when we were growing up, like what were I mean, obviously you were into computers a little bit and games. I mean, you and I played, but like, what were your interests outside of that?
In high school,
Yeah.
uh, I mean, that's pretty much it. I was a kind of a performer.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I'm maybe digging for a little bit. I have a
Yeah,
segue question there too, but
yeah. I was in like every play that I could have been in, and I was also in choir.
mhm.
So yeah, like after school,
Yeah.
almost every day I was like in the drama department, like the theater auditorium thing. Um,
Do you think that growing up with games and computers like that attracted people into those type of departments? Because I mean, I'm asking that because I was also in drama with you. I was
mhm.
involved in more of the I don't want to call it. I mean, there's band too and all that, but like I feel like all our friends were in drama, and all our friends
Yeah,
were. You know, it's kind of interesting. All our nerdy friends were like kind of in that. You know, and I don't know what attracts. I don't know.
yeah, that's a good point. I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting.
But I mean, also like in that same way, like a lot of engineering students
Hmm.
tend
Yeah.
to also have lots of gaming background.
Yeah. No, I mean, totally. I mean, I just think it's interesting because even I had friends in school that would be in engineering class with me and or auto shop, and they might also be involved in like either band or drama, like the music or, you know, I saw a lot of parody there, and I don't know if it's just a creative thinking or, you know, I mean, I'll be honest, I
Right.
loved video games when I was little because I loved how where it would bring me. I would use my imagination. You know, I would be
Hmm.
the old games, I'd be Samus Aran and Metroid, or I'd be Legend of Zelda. You know, it was like I loved that, and maybe being in plays is cool because I get to pretend to be. I also get to
Right.
use my imagination, you know, and I don't know.
No, yeah, we were like the first generation to grow up with video games being like another form of storytelling.
Totally, yeah,
That
you know,
like,
and
and we remember a time where admitting that you played video games was
like, yeah,
like not not cool.
yeah,
That was
you
a
like almost,
nerdy thing to admit.
yeah, you like almost don't talk about it.
Yeah, and that's another like maybe that's why we all found that we all played video games at
Yeah,
theater,
yeah,
but that's because we felt comfortable
yeah, with each other, right?
like
Yeah,
being who we were.
yeah, yeah, and you know, there's a lot of segues to that, and yeah, it's just funny. It's interesting. It's something I think about, you know, and yeah, I mean, so I guess my next question for you is like, where does music fit into all this for you? Because I feel like music's always been a big part of your life. I mean, when I first met you, you could play the piano better than anyone I'd ever met, you know, and is it just always been
Yeah,
part of your life or where, you know, yeah.
I totally forgot about music. But he said
You don't
that.
think about it. I mean, there's a giant guitar on the wall behind you and, you
Yeah,
know,
I don't know. Yeah, it's just something I do. No, it's
yeah.
honestly how I think about music is, or at least piano.
Hmm.
Um, like I don't know. It's a, I have a complicated relationship
With
with it,
music. Okay.
and it's hard to even talk about.
Oh.
Uh, but it all started like I was crap at music up until one point where my dad had a piano in the garage
Hmm.
uh, that was like separate from the house
Hmm.
at the time in middle school, 7th grade. It was actually like the summer between the 6th grade and 7th grade,
Hmm.
mostly. And my grandma was living with us, and she was very old. We were taking care of her. And at one point, I was playing on a little Casio computer or a little Casio keyboard that I'd had. that has like a bunch of preloaded songs. And at one point I played a song, and it was Canon in D, Pachelbel's Canon. And she just mentioned like, "Oh, I love that song." And I was like, "Huh." And I, for whatever reason, decided to learn that song. I went out in the garage. I would like play that song on the keyboard, and then I would like pick it out on the piano afterwards because I always knew I could hear something and play it. So
Really?
I just
Have
did that.
you've always been able to like just hear sound and kind of figure it out?
Yeah, I can match pitch. Like if you sing a note, I'll sing that note, and then I could play it on a key, or I could play it on a guitar, or
Wow, I did not know that, Mike. I've known you kind of self-taught yourself.
well,
It's
that's
interesting that you've always kind of been able to pick it apart, though, or like you've had an ear for it.
yeah.
Does that
So
have a name?
It's playing by ear.
Yeah, and that's just something. Do you think people naturally have that ability, or?
I mean, I do.
Yeah, I mean it's interesting.
So-
I mean, obviously, there are people that innately have an ability to make music, create music, and but
Yeah.
and obviously, like I know you can teach yourself that, but
Right.
it's
I
fascinating.
think it's a skill you can learn.
Yeah, yeah. I mean that.
But it just always came naturally to me.
Hmm.
And my dad is the same way. He
Oh, maybe it is genetic.
also
Who knows?
learned by ear.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I don't know why, like, I spent a lot of time in that garage playing piano. I figured out like multiple, like, not only did I learn the song the way that the keyboard told me to play it, I learned that to perfection.
Mm-hmm.
Then I started like really understanding what I was doing. I was like, okay, when I play these these four notes, makes a cool sounding sound like a major chord. What if I use this pattern and I put it to these notes? And then I would like, oh, okay, this is like a major chord no matter what I do. And then it's like, okay, then this one must be a minor chord. And then
Wow.
I learned that, and then I would like try to play it differently, like
Change it up
anyway.
until you match the pitch of this. Or yeah, I mean.
Yeah, until like I learned all these. I just practiced a lot.
Yeah.
It was mostly that song too, like
Deconstructing that song taught you music.
pretty much.
Well, I mean, Mike, I definitely, I'm happy to ask you, and honestly, I just learned again, I learned something about where you come from in music that I didn't know, and I've always known you as someone who kind of self-taught themselves the piano, and I mean, I would love to leak on our social media the video of you playing at a drama show on the piano as the Little Mermaid.
Oh no.
We need to upscale that in HD or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of a really crappy video.
Hilarious though. But again, dude, it's been I see it as a part of your life, and and I just think it's so funny that full circle, you end up being part of a tech conference that's part of a music festival, and I think it's great that you're on Hackfort. It's like
yeah,
it's meant to be.
And this pandemic has caused me to do more music stuff. Like I played music for a college class recently. I played a medley of inspirational songs before finals week, and I had a stupid costume on, and it was a lot of fun. And
did you get
that used to be my bread and butter, and I haven't done that
made
in
a character
years.
in a way and played? Did you get to see the students react to you playing? Was it all part of a Zoom or something, or no? Did you just?
It was part of Zoom, but they didn't have their cameras on. I kind of wish.
Yeah,
they
would
did.
have helped you, I think.
Yeah,
it's funny. Yeah, this pandemic.
Yeah, and then I also got to, make the Hackfort song, which was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Well,
that's great. No, I mean, it's a fun little jingle.
People at Boise State are sometimes like they joke about having me do some music for something or make a video about something, and it might happen some of these times. Like,
I mean,
who knows?
you do never know, like, and honestly, you're good at it. It is a gift that you have, and it's fun. I feel like you have fun doing it. Yeah, I mean, do you? I know we've talked about how you and I ended up with Hackfort like a million times, but like, I guess I just want to ask you the general question, like, just how you feel about Hackfort, and like what do you like? Where do you see us in the future? What are you excited about, just in general? I mean, obviously the pandemic has probably changed your thoughts on some of this, but
I gosh, I don't know. I really like Hackfort.
Yeah.
I like what it's there for.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's someone like me who has, like you mentioned, kind of a performing, creative-ish side.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an English major. I'm a gamer. I'm I guess, musician sometimes.
Yeah, you're like a man of all trades in a way.
Communications person. But I've always felt kind of apart from like my friends who are developers, or my friends who went to engineering college to create cool, like part of me like thinks that I could have had a different life where I went to pursue math and science.
Sure.
And I didn't. And I probably still could, but I haven't. And so I found like a way still to get
way forward, to get
get into the place that I like being.
Yeah, I mean, you and I, our paths were definitely a little bit different in school, but our passions were the same, right? And I think it's really interesting to see you and I kind of diverge and then kind of come back together when we both went back to school. Because we were both like, oh, like, why aren't we doing this tech thing we're into? And so, like, I was doing the IT program and you were doing the writing program, but that were focusing really on the emphasis of tech writing. And we both ended up student employees for OIT, and we both ended up, that's how we got into Hackfort. I mean, initially. And I think about that all the time too. I really do think about how, man, maybe I should have just become an engineer. For a long time I wanted to do programming, but I just didn't want all the workload in school, and I didn't, I thought I would just be sitting in front of a computer, which obviously there's a lot of roles where you don't just sit in front of a computer, and lo and behold, I spent a lot of my time sitting in front of a computer.
It's kind of hard to avoid these days.
Yeah, and I think that you and I, it is funny that I could see you and I both. I mean, I totally could have been an engineer if I had just done it. If I did that program, I probably would have been an electrical engineer or a mechanical engineer, but my passion's still there, my interest and my curiosity. I mean, I know for you, I mean, that's obviously why you and I
obsessed with like science and technology. Like, I've seen every like space documentary I know of. I watch for fun like lectures of like scientists or even like mathematicians, like people that I really don't understand a lot of the times. But I guess, I don't know, I try to understand as much as I can. Like I'll watch Richard Feynman lectures, which are fantastic.
I know his name. Who is he? Is he a physicist?
Yeah. He came up with the Feynman diagrams.
Okay.
He has a lot of really good lectures, and he, he's one of the first real great science communicators, like before Carl Sagan.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah.
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 I don't know what else to say about that.
Yeah, no, I mean I just think I think that was great. It's funny to see how you and I ended up with Hackfort, and I think is giving. Well, it definitely also gives me this outlet that I'm passionate about. I mean, it's great. And
Yeah,
it's fun to be part of.
As far as like where it can go, like
Yeah,
there's so many ideas
yeah,
and potential.
yeah,
We've I don't know. That's a whole nother
yeah. No,
thing.
I mean, and obviously you and I right now, this is part of our vision. Starting the show, and we have no one on stream, but we're practicing. We're obviously not advertising that we're doing this, but this is just this is great, and we're going to post it on our YouTube, and we're working this out so we can build it into something that helps us build our community and help those that might not be able to even make it to Hackfort. And with this pandemic, who knows? It's hard to say.
Yeah.
So I think my last question, before we wrap up tonight, what do you think the next big thing in technology is going to be?
I think there's a couple things.
Okay.
And they're all going to happen around the same time. And I think I've already talked to you about this, but I'll do it again.
Perfect. Enlighten me.
I think blockchain is going to disrupt almost every industry, including banking, which is kind of an important industry. I think VR and AR are going to be so huge for industry specifically, businesses especially. I think it'll start out with training. Like, it's so good at simulating things that you feel like you're there. You put whatever the thing is you want to teach in front of somebody in a VR game or a simulation, and have them do the thing that you're trying to teach them to do, like via textbook.
Yeah.
And
do you think that's going to be really soon, or do you think it's going to be more in the next decade?
I think it's already happening in some industries. Like military's done that. There's some like the guy I saw at the I forget his name. Anyway, it's already being done in certain industries. I think people just don't quite get it yet. I think it can happen like very soon with HoloLens and maybe the next Quest. Whatever Oculus will do for business, their business VR headset. I think that's when it's really going to start to kick off. And places like GIM, like they're on top of it. Like they know this is coming. They're teaching people how to make the simulated, VR worlds.
Yeah, I think that we're so close, but we're not close. Like it's just, whenever I have a really good VR experience, I am just like, oh, this is amazing. But my brain keeps going to, it's like we're almost there. I just feel like we haven't had that thing yet, that singularity or that breakthrough moment that's like either via VR or AR that just changes everything. I don't know if what was the augmented reality company, Magic Leap? I don't know if you saw, like they're not doing well, and that was such a big deal. Like, you know, that was a company that was supposed to change everything. Now they're pivoting to basically industry only, which might, like what you're saying, maybe that'll be great. Maybe they just went, you know what, we're not going to make it in the consumer field. Can't make it, you know, cheap enough or whatever. But maybe in like automotive and whatever, it'll be amazing. But that company's not, you know, there was billions of dollars dumped into that company. It was supposed to be like the end all be all leap.
Yeah.
Magic Leap. You know.
The places I think it'll be successful are the places that where normal training costs millions and millions of dollars to train, you know, some people how to do something, where you need like giant pieces of equipment or, you know, an immense amount of power and oil or, you know, all these resources to do something that you could just reproduce in a simulation that'll last forever.
Sure.
Like the cost savings are insane.
Yeah. Well, it makes sense.
And you can give it to as many people as you want. So as long as, you know, they pump the resources into making a pretty dang good simulation instead, like I thought about like power lines, like you know how the Northwest Lineman College is here in Meridian.
Yeah.
And they're little, and you know somebody who works there. Mm-hmm. And they have actual like power lines there for training, like they're like turned off or something, or they're safer. But you know, they have the actual equipment that they need to learn their trade.
Yeah.
But I'm sure a lot of that.
VR, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think AR is where that kind of stuff becomes the route, because I just think with VR there are things you can teach people that are practical, but something like when you're dealing with electricity, I think you have to have a physical aspect to it, because not only are linemen like dealing with extremely dangerous thing, but they physically have to move around the environment, and like physical strength matters. Like it's like in that school is not only teaching you the skills, but it's also thinning out people that can't cut it physically. It really is. Like you have to be able to really carry yourself, but I think AR would be huge there, because what if you're working on a power line and you're wearing glasses and you see, maybe you don't quite know what this conduit is or whatever, but then through your AR glasses, and you know, it's like, this is cable Z1338 that hooks to, you know, and it's active, you know, and it's showing it red. Then you won't forget, don't touch that cable, you know, and you know, that would be huge, you know. Or like if you were, I see AR getting to the point where you could be in your house and you need to change a pipe under your sink. Like it could see the pipe, the camera could, and then it could be like, okay, well, this is where the wrench goes, and you see like a wrench doing what you need to do step by step. You know, like that would be huge, right? And I've seen tech demos from Microsoft going like, yeah. It just hasn't happened yet. You know, like they say it's going to happen, but it could change everything. It really could. Yeah. You know, and I think AR definitely, as a way to teach, it probably will be the thing if they come up with the hardware and the tech to do it. I just don't know I think the idea is here and it's very relevant, but I think I'm still not believing that the technology has caught up yet. I don't know. I just haven't seen it.
Yeah.
I know when I see it, I'll be like, this is going to change the world.
Yeah. And I think, you know, if this pandemic happened maybe 5 years in the future, when everyone had VR headsets, like college classes could have all adapted to a VR classroom. Or, you know, one major aspect of one bad thing about having classes online is all the lab classes that had people come in and do, you know, lab work.
Yeah.
Again, like a lot of that lab work could probably be simulated.
Yeah, you could simulate it. Again, I think there's a. I still feel like there's something about and maybe I'm just like I'm refusing to believe that we can't get there. But I guess presumably we will get to the point where we can simulate the real world almost flawlessly. That's like Star Trek, right? But
Yeah.
I just think AR is going to be the way to that, right? Where we're using the physical world to. Well, let's say you're at home and you have a lab kit and you have like, these AR glasses that it's telling you what to mix and how, and it could be amazing.
There's this other, I don't know what it is. I don't even know if it has a name. Anyway, there's something you can do where you like use LiDAR to 3D scan your environment. And then you put on VR and then you use that environment. So then you're in VR, but it's kind of like AR because you're still in the place that's.
Yeah.
So that's kind of trippy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all ears. There's a book that a friend recommended to me a while ago called Rainbow's End, and it's all about. It takes place, I don't know, probably 20 years into the future from now, but we all just have contacts we put in that fully will scan and map any world onto our existing environment. So there's like a Harry Potter world or a Star Trek world, and everybody just lives in whatever reality they want to, which obviously has its own implications. And
that's so cool.
Yeah, so interesting idea.
Well, then there's like Neuralink that you can just, you can just mess with your brain to have your brain interpret things however you want it.
Yeah, we'll see where Elon Musk goes with all that stuff. That guy's a character. I'm sure you and I can talk about him. He seems like he's in the news every day these days.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Makes you think what it would have been like if we had social media with like Einstein or
Tesla,
Nikolai Tesla, or any famous inventor and or entrepreneur. Ford. Oh my God, Henry Ford. I would pay for that guy to be able to do Twitter and Instagram. So
probably be so racist.
Probably. Maybe not. Maybe it's a good thing. Old-timey people don't exist today.
Yeah. Be canceled so fast.
Well, that's great. Well, yeah, I mean that's all I have, Mike. I mean I think that was great. It was cool to kind of give you a little deep dive on your background there. And next week we'll flip roles. I'll let you ask the questions.
Cool.
You can flip the script.
Think of some gotchas.
Go for it. I'm all for it. I'm excited. I think that'll be fun. So yeah,
maybe we'll market that episode.
Maybe. Who knows? Yeah, so that's kind of our show today. I just to kind of talk about Hackfort and Treefort, we're all still kind of hanging in there. The COVID, I think they're still taking applications for the COVID Cultural Relief Fund that they put out here in town in Boise. So if you're interested in that, you can go to Treefort's social media and or the Treefort website. If you're an artist in the Boise area and you want to kind of tell your story, I think that's a great outlet. They're paying people money to kind of tell their experience of being part of this pandemic and what that's like. It's pretty wild. So I know a lot of people out there are without jobs, and especially our awesome artists that are in our community. So if you're one of those people, definitely look into it. I think it's a great opportunity. Treefort is still, as far as right now, we're planning for September, and we're just kind of walking with the punches. So that's the plan as it stands. We'll just kind of see. We'll reassess sometime the next couple months and kind of in it together with everyone. So just kind of see.
Yeah, I doubt anyone will be surprised whatever we do.
Yeah. So yeah. So that's I think we're gonna call that a show. Do you want to take over the stream, Mike, tonight, or should we just? Unfortunately I have stuff I have to do, so I can't play games tonight.
Yeah.
It's up to you. Let's just say if you wanted to stream, you can.
Okay. We'll have to do some configuring and things.
Yeah, on
A lot
your
of
end.
setup involved.
Well, you could also just play games on our Twitch and put your video on. You don't have to do the overlays if you don't want to. I don't think anyone's going to be hurt by it. It's up to you.
Okay.
But that being said, thanks everybody for watching and/or watching the rerun.
Yep.
We'll see you guys soon. We'll see you on the interwebs. I think, it's going to be a interesting time the next few months. But
Yep. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
that's also a great way to find out if we're streaming. Eventually, we will be advertising this, and follow us on Twitch, Twitter, Instagram,
Join us in the chat next time we're live.
Facebook. Yeah, you can get on the chat. I'll ignore you.
I'm really excited for that to happen. Like once we get some viewers and we can.
Yeah, I mean that'll ultimately probably be a segment or part of the show where we just talk to guests, and
Yeah.
so
To Q&A.
it'll be fun, especially when we play games too. After show will be a great place for that too. So
Yeah, we can play games with the chat even.
yeah, we I think really hope to just interact with you guys, especially the people that aren't from Boise or people who just might have a hard time getting out. We wanna help build community and connect you guys together and give you some resources for that. So yeah, it's good times, dude. Well,
Yep.
oh boy, what the heck? I had the Hackfort theme and then lost it. Well, I guess our outro is not going to be nearly as fun.
I'll just sing it.
You can sing it. President Barack Obama's like.
Every year you sponsor Hackfort,
Yeah.
which is
Hackfort.
for those of you who.
You're really
not
close. I'm playing the song now, so.
Um,
Tech festival that brings the community together
All right.
to share knowledge
Well,
and
thanks,
new
Mike.
skills with one another.
Thanks, everyone. We'll
Every
see
year
you on the next one.
sponsor Hackfort,
all right. Bye.
Bye,
which
Mike.
is, for those of you who are not aware, Hackfort. This is a tech festival that brings the community together to share knowledge and new skills with one another. Hackfort. Hackfort. Hackfort.